My name is Katherine Wilson, and my research project was a book created over the last year with the help of Dr. Stephen Rust, encouraged by Dr. Ala Lunas, and supported by the U of O English Department. It's a sequel to my first book, Echoes from the Set, Volume 1, 2019. Echoes from the Set, Volume 2, 1967 to 1977, Shadows from the Underground, Cinema Under the Influence, is coming out in August of 2021. What created the new Hollywood? Was it the experimental films of Stan Brakhage and the New York Village Voice Film Criticism under Jonas Meekus? Was it the new technology of portable cameras, portable sound, and portable lights? The answer is that all of the above contributed, but the main central thread that connected the new Hollywood was the worldwide effect of iconoclasm, which in America also created a countercultural ideology, and the voice of that ideology was bicultural. In America, the 60s generation was countering their own culture's threat of domination, as coined by Cherokee intellectual and feminist Andrea Smith, as the three pillars of white supremacy, which were directly embedded in heteropatriarchy, slavery and capitalism, genocide and colonialism, and Orientalism and War. Beginning with the civil rights era, the bicultural and metaphorical voices of marginalized people began to be heard, and they joined together to create a new vernacular through political movements and express cohesively in the arts, including cinema. One particular voice emerging in the 60s counterculture was the voice of the original Indigenous people. Hundreds of thousands of young people adopted their ways of being in the modern world to counter postmodernism. Most of the 60s film embraced this new worldview, but it wasn't until the revisionist Westerns had questioned the post-classical Hollywood treatment of American Indians that its true bicultural voice emerged in Kesey's One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. As a bicultural native Oregonian who became a poetic filmmaker at the U of O in 1969, I had always loved poetry and books, but I struggled with writing in the, quote, English tradition, unquote, because I had a strange syntax, and eventually dropped out of the U of O in 1972. I went on instead to become a pioneer filmmaker as Oregon's first location scout and casting director, and in 1995 I was named the godmother of Oregon film. It wasn't until this last year, when I came back to finish my degree at the U of O, and by studying contemporary literary theory, that I was able to research and write a sequel to my first book to delve more deeply into the unanswered questions about the bicultural voice of the 60s and its manifestation in the new Hollywood of the 60s and 70s. Thanks to a research award from the English department, I found that this bicultural and metaphoric voice was a similar syntaxial voice to mine, and indeed was within deconstructionism. It is called the Marrano metaphor, as coined by Jacques Derrida. The Marrano metaphoric voice that emerged in the poetic cinema film of the 60s and created the new Hollywood came from such filmmakers as Milos Forman, Belmir Zsigmond, and Laszlo Kovacs, whose homeland were under Russian domination, and our own indigenous people under the rule of white supremacy in America. But because of the white-non-white dialectic, the voices of bicultural or mixed-race people's heritages are not revealed or even acknowledged, but their voices echo from the sets through cinema today.